Alright, so this is my tutorial for the setup for zero hitbox glitch. So I'm mostly just going to be talking about how to get into the right Z coordinates. Um, so it's pretty complicated, but I feel like the way that it's set up now, in my experience, you can usually get to the correct coordinate without any frame perfect inputs, really. So I should probably explain what is happening first. So we need to get Mario. We need to enter the room from this pipe specifically, which is why we're up here. And we need to get Mario to a very, very, very specific Z coordinate. And then we need to first strike the X knot with a spin jump. And that first strike has to be the first frame of the spin jump animation. And if we do everything correctly, and then we also get lucky because there's RNG involved, after we run away from the fight, exiting paper mode will set Mario's hitbox to 0, so you'll be able to walk through walls. I don't have the glitch right now, but yeah, if you walk into corners, the game will just push you out of bounds, basically. So, I'm going to be explaining my setup for getting into the right Z coordinate. So, yeah, you need to enter the room from this pipe. And this first, so there's 2 steps, basically, to get to the right position. That's all, 2 steps. So we need to move up to one coordinate, and then we need to move left to another coordinate. Ideally, you do the movement, you pause on the perfect frame so that you're just in the right position. But I have found, it seems like you can move around pretty consistently. You can just kind of wiggle into the right position if you stop short, or even if you go past. Yeah, we're gonna enter paper mode and pause here. And then the way I like to grip the controller for this is I actually use my ring finger on the R button. And then I claw the controller and put my finger, my pointer finger on the A button. And my thumb on the start button, kind of like Super Jump TRE. And then, yeah, you want to walk up in paper mode. So don't hold up. You just need to walk up. Up on the notch, then left. Actually, not the notch for this first one. This first one is just walking. It's a very important distinction. So if you go up, you're going to be walking, running in paper mode. You need to just walk. So we're just going to push up, and it's pretty lenient. If you just carefully push directly up, but not all the way, you have a pretty big window. So you're just going to hold towards directly up, but not against the notch. And we need to do a full jump. And I like to time the visual cue for this full jump right about as I pass the bush. And this is just how my screen cuts off. So some of the visual cues are going to be kind of weird for the ones that use the edge of the screen. But kind of have to figure out what works for you with that. Yeah, just going to walk up in paper mode. And then I jump when the bush hits the bottom of the screen. Full jump. And then stop and pause. Oh, I did that wrong. Whoops. I did something very important wrong there. What you need to do is pause before you stop moving. That affects the coordinate you end up on. So I'm going to do that again. Holding R in the pause menu, holding up. And when the bush hits the bottom of the screen, I'm going to do a full jump. And then pause while I'm still moving. And I have the pause timer up here. PST 278 means I spent 278 frames between pauses. If I were in the right coordinate, that would say 282. So I basically paused 4 frames early. So yeah, we can fix that. We can just stay in... Well, actually, I like to unspin from paper mode to see the visual cue here, but we're just going to move up a little bit. Because, yeah. I need to move up a little bit so that Mario's facing left instead of right. But the visual cue for this is pretty hard to describe. It may not be very visible on my capture card. But when I'm looking at my CRT, I can see it really easily. But yeah, basically, this is a hard visual cue for me to describe. But, so I'm looking at the top of Mario's hat. And at the bottom, I'm watching his idle animation. At the bottom of his idle animation, basically, you can see the leaf behind Mario without any, black pixels on the hat when you're in the right position at the bottom of the idle animation. Like when I look at it here, I can see there's none at the bottom, but when he moves up to the top, basically there should be like a longer line of pixels. It's kind of hard to describe, but a little bit easier to know what I'm talking about when you're looking at it on a display that's easier to see. Yeah, like right now, when he's moving up, it's like sort of like 2 pixels or so. That's not long enough. It needs to be like further when he's at the top of his idle animation, so I know I'm too low. So I'm just gonna enter paper mode. And then yeah, if you exit paper mode without moving up, Mario's gonna be facing to the right. And for this visual cue, I like Mario to be facing left, so we need to move up. And that's also sort of a way you can tell that you can like make sure that you moved. So if you look at the hexadecimal display on the bottom right, 0xC25A5307 is the right coordinate for this first step. So I know that I'm in the right spot because of that. But yeah, my visual cue here, like I said, like I've terribly explained, at the bottom of Mario's idle animation here, there's like no black pixels on the top of his hat. On the, I'm just like looking at the gray leaf behind his hat. And then when he bobs up, it's like 2 pixels and then 2 more appear. So it's like 2 and then 2 more at the top of his idle animation. Basically, oh, the way a normal person would explain it is he like covers up the entire leaf besides like 1 pixel when he's at the top of his idle animation. Another thing I should mention is you can't hammer. It breaks the setup, but that doesn't matter for our purposes right now since I'm just explaining how to get in the right position. Yeah, that is important. So, yeah, that's what it looks like when Mario's in the right position for this first one. And whenever you're ready to go to the second coordinate, you want to enter paper mode and then pause. And you want to make sure that this X knot's not in the way. This is something he does a lot. It's very annoying. But usually he won't troll you like this, but it happens sometimes. So when he's far enough off screen, I'm going to enter paper mode and start moving left. Okay, like, that should probably be good. And the visual cue I use for when to pause this second time is this sort of curved leaf in the background. Like, I pause right when Mario's nose touches it is what I try to do. So I'm going to start holding left here and then unpause. Pause right there. Okay, so yeah, that was 4 frames early. I can tell because I got PST 82 instead of 86. And yeah, this X knot's gonna mess us up, so we're just gonna reload the room there. Gonna get back into the first position again. And I'm gonna just try and get into the right position without looking. Okay, so that's not right. That's not high enough. Okay, that's closer, but not quite. Okay, and now I can tell it's too high because there's like a pixel flickering on Mario's hat at the bottom of his idle animation, so I know for sure that's way too high. So I'm gonna move down a little bit in paper mode. And then maybe I'm in the right position right now, right? But if I let go of the R button, Mario's gonna be facing right. So I can move back up, try and wiggle into the right position. Okay, and that looks good. Okay, yeah. And when I look at my coordinate there, I'm actually off by 1. Yeah, so that happens sometimes when you wiggle around too much. When you wiggle up and then back down, it has a chance to just do that. So that is an unfortunate truth to this setup. But if you're just wiggling up, you can usually get away with it. Oops, let's not get hit by that guy. Won't get 5307 if you jump too early. Yes, true, Zeph. Other thing to mention, you don't want to spin jump in this room at all until it's actually time to do the glitch. Otherwise, the setup will not work. Yeah. Might have failed due to jumping too early. Ah, that's a good point. That's something that's very easy to overlook. But yeah, the jump timing is important. And you want to do a full jump as well, as I mentioned. Yeah, so at the top of Mario's idle animation, I just see like a single little pixel flicker there, not high enough. We're just gonna move up. Okay, that's close, but I still only see like 1 pixel, so just move up a little bit higher. Okay, yeah, and then at the top of his idle animation, he's covering almost the entire leaf, besides like 1 pixel behind his hat. That looks good to me. A5307, okay. So, we enter paper mode and then pause. And then we're gonna hold left, the pause menu, and then pause right when I get to this thing on the wall that was 1 frame early. TST85. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is try and fix this position as well by wiggling to the left. So important thing to note, the first time we got into the right position, we were walking in paper mode. We were barely pushing up on the stick, so we would be moving at half speed. This time, we are holding all the way left. So we're moving twice as fast, give or take. So, in my experience at least, when I move for 1 frame, it's not enough movement. Like, so I paused 1 frame too early here, right? So instead of moving for 1 frame, I need to move for 2 frames in paper mode because I'm walking instead of running. I'm just going to try and wiggle to the left probably 2 times. 1 frame each is usually how I end up doing it. I'm just looking at the edge of the screen. Okay, I think that was a 2 frame wiggle. Yeah. So now I'm at the right coordinate, C25, A06, E3. So I believe I wiggled the stick for 2 frames there. I'm just going to turn this display on so he can't mess with me. So, the visual cue that I like to use here, shout out to Bacon for labbing this out with me the other night and really figuring out good visual cues. So basically the visual cue is the bush on the left side of the screen. I don't really know how to describe it. Bacon calls it, like, says the edge of the bush is dull instead of sharp. So maybe that makes sense to you, but I don't really get it. But yeah, basically, the very edge of the bush should just barely be touching the screen. It's a little bit hard to tell. Honestly, this visual cue is tougher than the other one, I find. But on my CRT, there's some sort of weird artifacting or whatever. I don't know what you'd want to call it, but basically the corner of the screen looks very particular when I'm in the right position. So, maybe you can find a setup by looking at the corner of your CRT if you're on a CRT. I think I'm just kind of really lucky because of that, honestly. But that's not a visual cue I think everybody's going to use. But that's what the bush should look like. And the bush kind of works on its own. Let's do that again. So enter paper mode and enter the pause menu. Hold just barely up. We're walking, not running. Jump when the bush hits the bottom of the screen. That's a full jump. Pause while we're still moving in paper mode. Unspin to see where we're at. We're not even close to covering up the leaf at the top of Mario's idle animation, so we're going to move up. Okay, so that right there, I'm not looking at the hex. That's still too low, I believe. We need to move up a little bit more. Okay, that's still too low. Just like 1 little pixel flickering up there. Okay, I believe this is 1 frame early? No, okay. This is the correct position. This is one of the deals with this setup. It's very difficult to tell if you are on the right pixel or whatever. A lot of times I'll think that I need to move up 1 more pixel, and I'm not. So that's a tough visual cue, but if you can find something that works for you consistently, that's great. But yeah, just kind of use the practice hack to figure out a visual cue that works good for you. The other one is pretty good, but this one is sort of 50-50 for me, more or less. The leaf is just, there's basically just a little bit less of the leaf visible when you're in the right position. Yeah. So yeah, enter paper mode, hold left, pause right there. Yeah, that was 1 frame early again, so we're just going to try and fix it. One thing I should mention, pause buffering does not seem to be something you want to do. We tried pause buffering at first, and pause buffering does not seem like it's helpful. Something about how it affects the camera's momentum or something. It does not seem to lead to consistent coordinates. So we're not going to pause buffer. We're just going to move left a little bit more. Okay, that looks good. C25, A06, C3 is the correct coordinates. So do it again. Okay. Another thing I should mention, this is really not organized. This is a pseudo tutorial, so it's fine. But you can't do the actual glitch in the practice hack unless you use V3 of the rel loader or something. I don't know. But yeah, you kind of need to do this on console if you want to test it. And as another thing I should mention is you don't want to use load and save position. If you're used to using the practice codes, you might want to do that so you can just practice this one and then this one on its own. That does not seem consistent. I mean, maybe it works. I don't know. There's still a lot about Mario's physics that is not necessarily fully understood. So, yeah. Jump right here. Pause while we're still moving up. Okay, we're still way too low. Move up. Move up a little more. Okay, that looks really close. I don't think that's it. Yeah, okay. That's not it. We need to move up for 1 frame here. We work with 3.0. Gotcha. Yeah, so we need to move up for just 1 frame here in paper mode. So I'm just tapping the stick as lightly as possible. And then, yeah, that happens a lot. I find it pretty difficult to tap the stick for 1 frame. So a lot of times you'll go past it. And, yeah, we need to move back down and then back up again. Because, yeah, that's the annoying thing is it seems easier to me to tap down for a frame. So maybe if you're able to find a good visual cue while Mario's facing right, that's great. But it doesn't work for me. I don't know. I haven't looked super hard, I guess, but yeah, we're in the right coordinate right now, but in a run I wouldn't know that because that's not the visual cue I use. So in order to make Mario face left, I need to move back up. So I'm going to move down again so I can move back up to end up in the right coordinate. Okay. So Mario's covering the leaf minus like 1 pixel at the top of his idle animation. Wait for this guy to move. Pause as we open the menu. Make sure you get that off. I don't know if it actually messes anything up, but I like to buffer the paper mode before I enter the pause menu instead of holding R and left out of the pause menu. If you don't like the tabs moving around or whatever, if it bothers you, you can do this, and it'll let you close the pause menu. But if you hold left on the tabs, it won't let you close the pause menu. So you can just click into items or badges if you want to hold left without the annoyingness of the sound. Anyways, hold left. I was right about there. That was 1 frame early again. We're just going to try and wiggle left for about 2 frames. Okay, we got it again. C25, A06, E3. Yeah, I find wiggling pretty consistent. When this setup was first found, these pauses were frame perfect, but it seems like you can pretty consistently just wiggle into the right position. Just mess with this in practice codes, just with the setup, so you can get used to getting in the right position, you know? And then, yeah. Probably could practice the spin jump just in the practice codes as well. So yeah, this is annoying. It's pretty tough to land on the right coordinate here. I just keep going too far up and then too far down. Okay, that's too low. This may not work at this point with all this wiggling. That looks good. Okay, we're still good. But yeah, you can practice the spin jump input in the practice codes. But you can also just try and do attempts of the full glitch on console because it's not that hard. It is frame perfect, but it's not that bad. So, PST 86, that's the right frame. So that's what it looks like ideally. You just pause on the perfect frame, PST86, C25, AO6, E3. You enter paper mode and hold straight left and pause on this frame. It should work every single time. That's the consistent way to do it. Wiggling can be a little bit inconsistent, especially if you try moving left and then right and over and over again. Yeah. Let's do it a couple more times here. Enter paper mode, open the pause menu, barely push up. Jump right about here. Pause while we're still moving up. And yeah, well, let me try that again. My pauses have been very early on the first one, which isn't really a big deal since you can usually fix your position pretty consistently, but try and get a more... Yeah, okay, that was 3 frames late. PST 25. Wiggling down into this, like I said, if you have to wiggle up and then back down and then up again, it might be a little bit harder to get the position consistently. But if you stop short, it seems pretty consistent to move back up into the right coordinate. So I try and err on the side of being early rather than late, especially for this first one. I guess you should probably do that for both of them, though. PST 281, so that was 1 frame early. So move Mario up 1 frame here. I think that was 2 frames. No, okay, there we go. C25, A50, A5307. Yes, Mario fan, we just got world record, actually. So we enter paper mode, open the pause menu, hold left. Pause right there. Perfect. PST86. Beautiful. C25, AO6, E3. And then I think that's pretty good. Zeph, anyone else? What am I missing? Something? I want to talk about the spin jump here, but there's probably some other stuff. There's probably a lot of stuff I'm forgetting. It's sort of a complicated glitch, but let's talk about the spin jump. So you want to spin jump for 1 frame before you first strike him, basically. I'm pretty sure that was too early. I don't really know how to tell. It doesn't work on practice codes, like I said, so the glitch isn't going to work right now. And then even if it did, even if I did everything properly, it might not be reflected. Like I said, the glitch can just fail due to RNG. So, yeah, even if I did everything perfectly and it did work, I could just get scammed. So, the spin jump, some people might find it easier, I guess, to do the strategy that Bacon Sizzles did, where you just let the X-Naut run into you and then get iframes, and then you just spin jump while you're low enough to first strike the X-Naut immediately. On the frame, you run out of iframes. It seemed like he was doing it pretty consistently, so maybe that strat works better for you. I don't really like it very much. Sometimes you might have to do it that way, though, because the X-Naut just runs into you before you have time to set up for the spin jump. So, I don't like to do it that way, though. I like to just be in the right position and just spin jump him as soon as he comes into me. So that was an interesting way to say that. Yeah, see if I can get one that looks like a first frame. That might have been it. I don't really think so, though. Yeah, there we go. That looked like pretty frame perfect to me. When you get it, you basically shouldn't see Mario spin jump at all before the battle starts. And then I like to press A to do the stylish as Mario's jumping, and that way I know it was a spin jump. You can also just hit the action command, do the first jump, and then Mario will do a spin jump, and you know you did a spin jump. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. So, that was the abridged tutorial. Or whatever. I don't know what that word means. But I'm going to try... this might take me a really long time, so I'm not sure. Not sure that I'm going to end up going through with it. But I'm going to try and do the glitch one more time on console, because you can't do it in the practice codes, so this way I can actually show how it works a little bit. First 2-0 5? 204, actually. No, not that file. Okay. Okay, so. Let's try and do this trick legit one more time here. Right about here, pause. Too low. Still too low. That looks pretty good. I think that was frame perfect. No. I don't think that's it, dude. I think I fucked that up. It's hard to tell. Hey. Yeah, so this is one of those positions where I'm not quite sure whether it's one frame early or not. I'm going to try and move up a bit more. I can't tell if I moved right there, so I just unspin. Since Mario's facing right, I know that means I didn't move up. Sometimes it's easy to gaslight yourself into thinking you saw Mario move. Okay, now I'm in the perfect position. I believe that's a frame early. Okay, so what I did right there, I don't know if this is even the right position. We're going to try it, though. I think I moved too much. Pretty sure I did. What I did right there was unspin, and then I brought up the pause menu to buffer the unspin from paper mode, so I actually have time to unspin and then do the spin jump. Let's see if that worked. It did not. Missed the spin jump there, and I'm not sure I got the correct coordinate either. Visual cue is pretty tough. And the really annoying thing about this trick is, yeah, you don't ever know if you actually did it right or not. Since you can just get scammed. So. That's really annoying. But it is definitely viable. Too low. That's too low still. Okay. That looks good. Yeah. That's fun. That's fun. And then, yeah, I usually kill that guy, honestly. I usually pick up the Thunder Rage after getting Super Boots and just use the Thunder Rage on those guys. Because if you have to try this trick over and over and over again, it is pretty annoying. But that's obviously not exactly optimal. Okay, that was too high because I can't even really see the leaf at all. Bottom of the idle animation. A little too high. This is getting dubious. Okay, we'll move up a little bit more. Looks good. Let's try it. Ah, it was too late. Okay, that's good. There we go. Okay. Very, very, very possible that I wiggled around too much. But that's the visual cue I was looking for. Jeff loves to scam you. He sure does. We named this X not Jeff. So yeah, reminders. This trick only works if you enter from the top. You have to enter from the pipe at the top of the room. You can't spin jump in this room until you do the spin jump to do the glitch. If you spin jump, it clears a value or something, and you have to refresh the room again. Go up to the top. And hammering breaks it as well. So, don't spin jump. Don't hammer. Whatever the first thing I said was. We named the X not Jeff. That's the first thing I said, probably. Don't try to pause buffer either. I would recommend against it, at least. And then, yeah, wiggling can fix it, but seems like it can break if you change direction. Don't pause buffer? I said that? Okay. Yeah, only do the pause buffers that you're supposed to do. Jeff just really does love to scam you sometimes. Yeah, the reason that I brought up not hammering, there's no reason you would hammer here. Unless you're like me and you got annoyed by Mario sleeping. It feels like he's gonna like take longer to jump when I press A. But I do not think that's how it works. Yeah, no need to hammer, just let Mario sleep. This gives you a good idea of how annoying the RNG can be here just with the X not. Not even to mention the fact that you can get scammed. That's also pretty annoying RNG. Thank you. That felt early. I feel like I saw Mario spin jump, which is not exactly a good sign, because, yeah. The first frame of the animation is not very easy to see. So, yeah. So to check, I just exit from paper mode, because that's how you activate the glitch. To set Mario's hitbox to 0 is exiting paper mode. And then you can just walk into the corner like that to see if you clip out. And I did not. It's actually weird, like, you won't clip out from the pipe because Mario's hitbox is 0, so you, like, walk behind the pipe before you clip out. Kind of weird. Like, you're not actually out of bounds, you're just between the pipe and the wall. So, paper mode, pause, up, jump. Okay, it looks too low. I don't think that's it. I think that's 1 frame early. One frame early isn't really the right verbiage there, but that looks good. At the bottom of Mario's idle animation, there's no, like, flickery pixels. And then at the top, he's covering basically the entire leaf. Okay, that looks like a couple frames early. Okay, that's close. Ah, too far. Okay, that probably didn't work. Since I wiggled left and then back to the right, but might as well try, I guess. Yeah, these visual cues are tough. I'd recommend trying to get really comfortable with them in the practice hack. Jeff. Oh, Jeff. That's what happens if you're in the wrong position. Good thing to showcase. Very good thing to showcase, actually. If I had to guess, that was probably a result of me wiggling around too much. Yes, as Zeph said, most of the time. Well, it's hard to tell, really, because you don't ever know what's going on. When you fail it, maybe you failed it because you got bad RNG, maybe you failed it because you were in the wrong position, but yeah, it doesn't always crash. Yeah, frame perfect spin jump. Which is weird because you don't even see the spin jump. Shit. I just started mashing. Whoops. Wrong save file. Trying to relive my glory days. Windows noise. Yeah. Try a little bit more. Not sure how much longer I'm gonna go. This is a hard trick. The first time I did it today on console, it took me 2 hours. Well, actually, I never even got it. I tried for 2 hours and never got it. Then I came back later and got it like second try, so. Definitely can be consistent, but it's hard. Yeah, his bottom of his idle animation, I'm seeing a little pixel flicker, so it's not good. Okay, probably just best to abandon that one at that point. Pretty bad. Once you wiggle back and forth too much. Yeah, that looks pretty close. That's probably 2 or 3 frames early. Okay, I think that's the right position. Ah, too late. I don't trust this position. That didn't look quite right to me, and also moving back and forth is never a great idea. Like I said, stopping short and then moving more usually seems okay, but back and forth is very sketchy. Was an hour into the run, yes. And there's another glitch you can do to save a bunch of time to skip finishing chapter 1. So, free world record. Anyways. Only 1 pixel at the top of his animation. Okay, that looks pretty dang good. Let's try it. Too early? Okay, that looks good. That looks good. The bush on the left, it's like zigzaggy. Just barely touching the very edge of the screen. And then, yeah, I have my weird little personal visual cue on my CRT at the bottom right. Very weird. It, like, changes... Like, the bush is on the edge of the screen, and it turns blue. For some reason. So that's cool. OJ! Oh. I think that was probably too late. Let's just see if we can get the stylish. Yeah, I think that was too late. I mean, clearly it was too late. Too bad. That could have been it. So yeah, basically, it doesn't really feel like you really need frame perfect inputs for the first two coordinates. You kind of do because you need to move the right number of frames, but the fact that you can get away with failing the frame perfect pause and still making the setup work is pretty cool. Yeah, so this is tough for me. This looks right, but I think this is right. Close. Okay, that's good. Too early on the spin jump, for sure. Saw way too much of the animation. I haven't even heard something. So. Yeah, that's a good thing to mention as well. Yeah, it seems like maybe there are times that jumping on the X-Knot doesn't change your position, but it seems to change your position pretty often. So. And yeah, you might have noticed now that, or you might be wondering, you might have asked yourself at some point, why is it that moving left changes your Z coordinate? Well, apparently that's a weird thing about this room. So, even though it doesn't really make sense, it's true. So, obviously, if this wasn't obvious, I'm sorry, but once you're in the right position, you don't want to move. Even if you're just moving left or right. Okay, so, here's the thing that he likes to do sometimes. Okay, I think that's good. I'm pretty sure that was late. Yeah. I've seen times where it doesn't change, but it's not consistent. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it might be as simple as if you see the screen moved, then you need to reload the room, but I don't know. I haven't tested that, so yeah. So, buffer pause. Buffer paper mode in the pause menu. Pause right there. Too low. Too high. That felt really weird. Yeah, I feel like I messed that up. I'm gonna just reload the room. Yeah, I know, right, Zeph? That's what I was thinking. That's why I said it's something to test, for sure. And maybe I didn't say that, but I thought it. Yeah. That looks pretty good to me. Too early. Okay, that looks good, I think. Yeah. Felt pretty early, man. Yeah, very hard trick. Not 100% sure I'm gonna get it before I stop recording. Because it could take a long time, but it is very hard, so. That's okay. And with all the RNG involved, yeah. Whoa! What the hell? I don't know what that was. Yeah. I don't really feel like consistent at this setup enough necessarily to make a tutorial, but I am making one anyways. So. Yeah. I'm the best you've got. I'm all you got right now, so sorry. Position looked good. That was too late. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good, but yeah, I moved around too much. I don't want to try that. Jambly tutorials better than none, exactly. Yo, shambles? Pretty insane. I got this second try in the run. I cannot believe that. Okay, that looks perfect. That looks bad. I think I was like 1 frame late. That's unfortunate. Yeah, this guy's really annoying to dodge, like I said. That's why I usually just like to pop the T-Rage on him. Yo. Mokatakiki? Mokatiki? There's some extra syllables in there. Move up some here. Close. I think that's going to be 1. I think that's a little bit too low still. You move up per frame. I moved up for 2 frames. I think. Okay, that looks good. This is definitely liable to crash. I moved around a lot there. So hopefully it doesn't. I wasn't sure I was in paper mode there, so I just did an extra pause real fast. Just close the pause menu and then mash the D-pad while I'm still holding R. Yeah, abandoned ship. That's so annoying. That's one of the downsides of trying to wiggle to fix the position. That doesn't work if this guy gets in the way, so. Jeff will do that. Damn it, dude. I think that's still too low. I don't know. That might have been it. I think I just moved up for too many frames, though. Okay, that looks good. Okay, I think that's it now. Yeah, too far left. Not gonna try and fix it. Yeah. Yeah, Jeff is really weird. It's like, you want Jeff, and then you don't want Jeff, and then you want him, and then you don't. What am I doing? Oops. I got caught being stupid. Looks good enough. I heard Jeff on the way over here, so, yeah. This is what I was talking about when I said you want Jeff, and then you don't want Jeff, and then you want him, and then you don't. They're going for it. It'd be really hard to gauge when he's far enough away. Probably safe now. Yeah, when he's that close, it's like I kind of want to shoot for the frame perfect, you know? One more frame of movement. I don't think that's good. Hard to tell. I think I moved just a little bit too much, though. I'm gonna try anyways. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is too far, though. Yeah, that's more like it. Let's not try. Dude, I keep getting caught being stupid. I don't want that. Okay. I think that might have been a frame perfect pause. That looks pretty good. So hard to tell if I'm in the right frame, on the right pixel or not. I'm gonna assume I'm not. I think I'm really bad about this part, though. Okay. I was correct. I moved up for one frame there, and now I'm in the right position. I can tell because the bottom of my... I've explained this visual cue a lot, but I feel like it's my way of explaining it's weird, which is why I've said it 15 times. At the bottom of Mario's idle animation, there's like no flickery pixels on the top of his hat. And at the top, you can't see the leaf anymore. So, that might have been it. Oh, that was it. That was the frame perfect pause. Okay, so we should be in the perfect position here. Got the bush just barely touching the edge of the screen. It's dull instead of sharp, as Bacon likes to describe it. Oh, Jeff. Here, Jeff. Might have been it. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Nope. Dang it. Tough stuff. Oh, well. You can just imagine that I did it there. Just pretend, right? Yeah. Obviously, if you don't do a spin jump, that means you press the A button for the second time too late. Obviously, if you spin jump early, you did a spin jump early, so... Yeah, basically, if you see anything, that's a pretty bad sign. Although I do think there's been times where I've kind of seen something, it's very hard to catch, because, you know, it's one frame of the animation. But for the most part, I basically see absolutely nothing. That's too high. I think that's one frame too low still. Okay, that's good. Unless I wiggled too much, which is entirely possible. Whoops, too far to the right. I was gonna go for it, but that was a lot of wiggling. It's pretty unlikely it's in the right coordinate. I don't know. Awful, I guess, but yeah, like I said, going too far left and back right again is dubious. Ah, there he goes. He got me. I knew it was bound to happen. Bastard. Something else to mention, I guess. Yeah. Now that I'm in danger, Mario's sprite is going to be different. Because he's doing the danger animation. So we can just eat a mushroom. You can sort glitch. If you don't know sort glitch, real quick. Pseudo sort glitch tutorial. Just press Z, sort, and then press A and start on the same frame. And then open the gear menu with the D-pad instead of the start button, so you don't have to use the cursor, because you need the cursor, sort glitch ends. And then you just select your item, and then even though you can't see the cursor, you can menu over to mushroom, select Mario, and then you basically just want to double tap the item, double tap the A button, and you will sort the item as you use it. And then you sort it again so that the item is in a different spot and it doesn't get consumed. A little trickier if you have two of the same item and you're trying to sort glitch that item, but just don't do that. Because I don't know how to do it that way. Anyways. That was fun. Extra tutorial on there for fun, you know? I don't think that's it. I think that's off by a frame. Okay, that looks good. Frame early, frame or two. Okay, I think that's it. Frankly, shut up. Stop walking. I like to press Z every time the thing pops up. Because I find it annoying. I don't think that was a spin jump, man. Nope. Try a few more times. Frankie leg. The Frankie leg. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is one frame too low. One pixel too low, whatever. Okay, pretty sure that was a frame of movement. There we go. Okay. Pretty sure that was a frame perfect pause. Ah, that was too early. Pretty sure that was too early. By like one frame, I think. Too far. Dubious. Quite dubious. Of course, I get the frame perfect pause after a dubious setup. First position. This is liable to crash, I would say, if I get this input. But maybe it works. Jeff! Oh, Jeff! Come over here. I know, Mario. Oh. Dang it, man. Can't get this frame perfect spin jump. Keep going late. I want to try and at least get scammed one more time. It does seem like this trick fails just because of RNG pretty often. Like I said, since we can't see our exact Z coordinate without the practice codes, can't really tell how often it actually happens, but feels like it happens pretty often. Okay, I'm pretty positive that's 1 pixel too low. Okay. Dang it. Yeah, so the pixel flickering at the bottom tells me that's not good. Okay, let's try that. Too far. Too low? I think that's too low still. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Too early. Yes. I got moved for 1 too many frames right at the end there. Looks good. Okay, looks perfect to me. Oh, Jeff! So, how's it going, guys? Yeah, this part's really annoying. Easy to get lulled to sleep. Similar to Mario sleeping. Here we go. We need to be ready for him. Because you never know when he's going to come over. Man, I can't get this input. Jeez. What was it? It's frame perfect. It's a hard frame perfect input. The setup felt really good for that one, though. A little too low. I think that's it. Okay. I think that was a frame late. Could not have timed Stage Bob any better. Yeah, I probably could have attempted that, but I'm pretty sure that was not the right position. Based on the visual, at least, that did not look right. Okay, we're gonna reset the room because I went too far up. Yeah. Oh! I like to get this guy caught on the bush because he's very annoying. Okay. Might have been in the right position there. Yeah, I feel like the first one's a little bit harder than the second. They can both be a little tough, but... that first visual cue's tricky. Yeah, it's an abandoned ship right there. Dude, keep pausing a little bit too late here. Yeah, let's just retry that. I think I'm jumping a little bit late too. Hard to tell. The jump is pretty lenient though. Pretty sure that was just a frame perfect pause. Okay. That's not it. I'm really sure. If Jeff wants to come over here soon, maybe I'll try, but that looks way too far to the left. By way too far, I mean 1 pixel. Yeah, like that looks better. Oh well. See, I think I'm still too low. No, I think I was in the right spot and I messed it up. Oh, here's something fun. This can happen, and then the attempt's just ruined, because he's basically just going to be stuck there forever. So yeah. Good he decided to do that whenever I was on a bad attempt anyways. Thanks, Jeff. Dude, I keep forgetting which room I'm in. Trying to do this again, please. Okay, that I'm like fairly positive is not high enough. I think I just moved for 2 frames there instead of 1, which is why I was in the wrong position, but that was close. Dude, you pay attention. What am I getting distracted by? Nothing's even happening. ADHD, man. I feel like this is too low. Yeah. Okay, well, Jeff said no. He was not gonna let us get to the right spot. Yeah, as you can see, I really struggle with the first one. Really try and get comfortable with this first visual cue because it's really hard for me. I gaslight myself into thinking I'm not in the right position when I probably am pretty often. So yeah. Very hard visual cue. Sometimes it feels easy, sometimes it's hard. Moving up for just 1 frame is also pretty hard, so. That's definitely it, though. Unless I wiggled too much. That was too early. I mean, could work. Or it could crash. Yeah, so that's the risks you take. Again, I had assumed that would happen. That happened because I wiggled too much. Yeah, so... Not gonna lie, kind of crazy I got this and saved time with it at all in runs. It's pretty hard. This is so hard for me. Oh, well, Jeff decided that we're not gonna get to try this attempt. Oh, whoa. He got past the bush. Yeah. If he moves too far to the right, he'll get stuck. But... If you catch him when he's still on the left side, apparently he can break free. Okay, I need to move a little bit more. Think that's good? Way too early on the spin jump, dude. Oh, man. Yeah, this input's really annoying. What the hell are you doing over here? You idiot. Okay, looked like a frame perfect pause to me. It was too late. I don't think that's good. On top of all our wiggling, that's bad. Let's set that up again. Okay, see if I wiggled too much here. That looks good. I think that might have been it. Okay, thank you. Jeez, dude. It's been a while since I got a good spin jump there. I didn't crash. Okay, there we go. All right. That took a long time, but it is very hard. So as you can see, you can walk through walls once you get the state. On back up here. Yeah. Took a very long time, but I did get it eventually. There we go. Yeah, this is not... Probably doesn't really act how you'd expect. It's very weird. Because you can't just... So, to enter the state, you need to enter paper mode and then exit paper mode. And then your hitbox is smaller. You can see, like, you gotta be, like, inside of doors to open them and that kind of thing. And you can clip out of bounds very easily. But it's a little bit hard to control, like, getting onto the seams sometimes in certain places because your hitbox is so small that once you clip out of bounds, you're, like, already falling. So it takes a lot of messing around to get used to. But certain things like this, like, yeah, you can just kind of use certain things to clip out of bounds. Like, this big old gourd here, if you just kind of approach it from the right angle. So I'm just, like, holding left and then up left, and, yeah. Certain things are easier to use to clip out of bounds than others. Yeah. This state is very broken. Yeah, to enter, you need to... I have a normal hitbox right now because I haven't exited paper mode. But once I exit paper mode, then, yeah. You can walk through stuff again. And you're... Oh, I thought we were falling out of bounds. In paper mode, your hitbox is normal. Once you exit, you're back to 0 hitbox. Anything else notable about this? Like I was about to say, this state doesn't go away until you reset your console. So it is very, very broken. Yeah, doesn't go away until you reset your console. Or soft reset, turn off power, whatever. And it can be transferred between save files. That was the other thing I was going to say. So if you were to die, you can load up a save file. Like, I guess I'll just show that right now. We'll just die in the background here and reload the save file, and we'll still have the state. Yes, thank you. That's a very important thing to mention. Yeah, paper mode doesn't let you go through cracks like it normally would. It works with the vent in Westside Rogueport. But you can actually keep Mario from dying here if you wanted to, but we're not going to do that. We're just BMing. Yeah, you can go down the grate into Rogueport, thankfully. But like the bars that you need to pass through to get Spike Shield, for example, or to get to Chapter 2, those bars don't work. So a lot of stuff is really janky. Yeah, but as long as we don't reset or turn the power off, we'll still have this state. Pretty fun. Oh, that was cool. Anything else I should demonstrate here while I have the states? I don't really think so. I was just gonna go show that the bars don't work, but that's pretty much it. And then I'll record a little quick tutorial for Chapter 7 as well. And yeah, your hitbox is still normal in the background as well. So. One thing I will mention is a lot of things can be really annoying to deal with 0 hitbox. Yeah, we still have to finish Chapter 7. You have to finish Chapter 7 to enter Chapter 8, so... like, some platforming that's usually insanely easy becomes very annoying all of a sudden with 0 hitbox. So you want to be careful in certain places. It's a lot easier to fall off somewhere, lose a bunch of time, but... I'm not used to that stuff at all yet. I mean, I guess we can... You can clip right here if you want. I don't know how to... You can probably clip through the corner straight here, but whatever. Then, yeah, getting through here can be kind of annoying. Okay. It just works sometimes. Sometimes I fall out of bounds here for no reason. Yeah. These bars do not work, though. Our paper road, it just is broken. So I'm holding up, I'm in the right spot, and you just don't go through. So you have to flip through. It'd be kind of annoying. I'm not sure how to clip back, honestly. I only ever had to clip one way. Probably would do something like use the pipe to get out of bounds, huh? I think I'm just up against the wall though, right? Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to get back there. The right wall? Oh look, you can just do that, I forgot. Yeah, it's really tricky. You can usually get on the seam of things, but it's pretty tricky to do without falling out of bounds in my experience. Whoa! We're down here now. Weird. Huh. Either way, yeah. Very weird stuff. But yeah, that's one thing I can show off is just, yeah, falling out of bounds is a good way to avoid soft locking, because whenever you fall out of bounds, you're going to be spawned wherever you entered, so that is usually one way to avoid a soft lock. Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm going to end the extended version of the tutorial there. Thanks for watching, guys.